March 24th marks the...
You know how you should never ask a woman her age or a man his salary? Well, there's a more important one. You should never ask a Serb why NATO bombed Serbia. To get the right answer for the last one, you should ask a Bosnian, a Croatian, or an Albanian. Sarah, in this video, you talk about how this kinda affected your life all the way in Canada because you had to do a presentation in school about NATO. Womp womp. You know what changed my life? The genocides your country committed. You know who I grew up with in various refugee camps in Europe the first 4 years of my life? Albanians, Croats, and Bosnians, children like me who grew up in refugee camps everywhere, knowing how lucky we were that we were still alive because all the other children were dead. The rest of the children back in Kosovo were living in horror and were also banned from education by your country. So seeing you make fun of education is just perfect. Sarah, honey, instead of going to raves and refusing to do research for your presentation on NATO as if someone as ignorant as you wouldn't have failed her courses anyways, you should have looked into how many people died during NATO's Operation Allied Forces and more importantly, where they were from. Because if you had spent more time studying and less on playing the victim, you would have found out that 60% of the NATO bombings happened in Kosovo, not in Serbia. You would have also found out that, according to Human Rights Watch, 500 civilians in total were killed during NATO's campaign, and that, according to the Humanitarian Law Center of Serbia, 218 of those civilians were Albanian and 204 were Serbs. Here's a list of all their names from your own human rights organization, the one that collaborates with ours, which is much more useful than what you're doing with your little fictional stories. I will add to that all Serbs are not like you, but the ones like you really piss me off. NATO did everything in their power to limit civilian deaths, and the target was mainly military camps and your arsenal of weapons and bombs, not people. So why did so many people die in Kosovo? Well, Serbs used Albanians as human shields. And remember, this number doesn't factor in the thousands of Albanians that were slaughtered before and during the airstrike by the Serb forces. I'll show you those numbers in a second, because when NATO finally intervened, your people went really crazy because they started attacking everyone in sight and seized the opportunity so they could blame it on the chaos and the airstrikes. I am sorry that civilians died during NATO's airstrikes. I'm also sorry that 204 Serbs died during NATO's airstrikes after several peaceful solutions and negotiations were proposed over the course of 1 year, to the point where the EU and the US were begging Milosevic to stop before they had to intervene. But I'm more sorry that they had to wait until after Milosevic ordered the Rachak massacre in Kosovo. That's this one. It's just one of many. I get your frustration. 204 people is a lot. And just so you know, when people are grateful to NATO, it's not because they bombed you. It's because they saved us. So spare us the whole false narrative. If you're truly just against killing civilians, why don't you, just like me, mention how many civilians Serbia massacred in Bosnia in 1995? I can tell you, over 100,000, 8,000 of them in the span of 72 hours. That's known as the Srebrenica genocide, one that Serbia still denies to this day and at the same time celebrates. Why don't you include in your little fantasy story that in 1999 in Kosovo, your terrorist forces killed 10,812 Albanians within a few months and that over 1,133 of those were children? Why don't you talk about the over 1,000 dead bodies that were transported from Kosovo to Serbia to be dumped in mass graves, also during the NATO airstrikes? Why are you not telling us that 1,100 Albanians are still missing in 2024? If you're so humane and your parents raised you to be kind, why was there no mention of the rape camps your people set up in Bosnia, in Croatia, and in Kosovo, leading to thousands of women killing themselves? Their deaths are not counted in these numbers, by the way. Anyway, I have to go back to studying and teaching the truth of what happened in my country, but I do hope you enjoyed your rave, and I do hope that one day you actually do study this topic and become a decent human being. And if you truly do want to learn why NATO had to bomb you and didn't understand this introduction, just watch my videos. I talk about it a lot.